Brennan Elliott has spent years being the guy who shows up at just the right moment. The steady presence, the reassuring smile, the reminder that hope still exists. But this time, his return isn't about a new movie premiere or a romantic storyline. It's about life, loss, and why Hallmark stories hit harder than we ever realized. With more than 30 Hallmark films behind him, Brennan Elliott recently made an emotional return to fan events, stepping back into public view after a deeply personal chapter. Following the passing of his wife, Camilla Rowe, in March 2025, after an 8-year fight with gastric cancer, Elliott has been navigating life as a single father to their 2 children, 13-year-old Liam and 11-year-old Luna. In early December, fans welcomed him with open arms at the Hallmark Christmas Experience, and just days later, he met even more supporters at Christmas Con in New Jersey. The response stunned him. What he expected to be a routine appearance turned into something far more meaningful. Speaking on the red carpet, Brennan explained that he traveled across the country simply because fans do the same. People fly in from all over the world to meet Hallmark stars and share how these films have helped them through difficult moments. Hearing those stories changed his perspective. Hallmark movies, Brennan admitted, are made at lightning speed. Most are filmed in about 15 days, with only a couple of takes per scene. There's no time to slow down and reflect, which means actors rarely understand the real emotional impact of their work. But fans filled in that gap. People told him how these movies became lifelines, watched during illness, unemployment, heartbreak, and grief. They spoke about turning to Hallmark when everything else felt overwhelming. And suddenly, the weight of what he's been creating for decades became crystal clear. For Brennan, that realization was powerful. He said it's an honor to play characters that leave people feeling better than they did before. Movies that don't drain you, but gently lift you up. That's why, after 30-plus films, he says he'd gladly keep making Hallmark movies for the rest of his career. The emotion didn't stop there. During a panel discussion with Nikki DeLoach, Brennan opened up about The Gift of Peace, a 2022 film that now mirrors his real life in haunting ways. The story follows strangers who meet in a grief support group, and at the time of filming, both actors were living that reality. Nikki was mourning the loss of her father. Brennan was processing his wife's stage 4 cancer diagnosis. What unfolded on set became more than storytelling. It became survival. Now, nearly 9 months after losing Camilla, Brennan spoke candidly about grief. "Everyone will face it someday," he said. "You don't escape it, you accept it. You search for peace. And you move forward, one uncertain step at a time." The purpose of The Gift of Peace, he shared, was to show that hope doesn't disappear after loss. It just arrives quietly, when you're ready. Then, in a moment that silenced the room, Brennan turned to Nikki, hugged her, and said that this movie carried him through it all. The audience erupted in applause, not for a performance, but for honesty. Brennan Elliott's return isn't loud. It isn't flashy, but it's real. And maybe that's why his Hallmark stories resonate so deeply, because behind the smiles and happy endings is someone who truly understands what it means to keep going.